putting stuff on house.
And then she goes, hey, girl, go great, nice.
Okay. So good morning, everybody. My name is John. We're here today to discuss the pros and cons of both of the high-end consoles for this holiday season. But before I get started, I'd like to kind of go around the room and have everybody introduce themselves and just let us know, let the group know, how much playing time you have with either Xbox or PlayStation. And it's okay if you don't have any. That's totally fine. We'll start over here with this side.
My name is Sean Glenn, and I have a 11-year-old son, and I have plenty of Xbox playing.
Xbox, okay, all right.
My name is Alicia Glenn. I have none, but we do have an Xbox.
Okay, Xbox, good.
Hi, my name is James Richard. We have an Xbox and a PlayStation, but since my son went to college, neither one of them have been at the house.
Okay.
I do have a little experience on the PlayStation.
Okay, PlayStation.
My name's Ashley. We do have an Xbox, but I don't play.
Okay.
Jennifer Morehouse. I play on the Xbox, but not the Xbox really. I play the Kinect on the Xbox.
Okay, Connect, good. Okay.
My name is Jeffrey. I'm in college and I play about 5 hours a day of Xbox.
Good.
My name's Morgan. I played a little on Xbox, Call of Duty.
Xbox, okay.
My name is Letitia Morris, and we do have an Xbox, but I don't play it. My kids play it.
So I don't have a lot of PlayStation here, so that'll be okay. I'm not hating on PlayStation, but you know, in my opinion, Xbox is the better console. Before we get started, I'm going to pass out these little handouts to help you kind of guide you through the presentation. Because as you know, Black Friday was just a few days ago. It's the start of the very, very short holiday shopping season. So if you're going to get your consoles, you got to have all the facts before you go shopping. So, does anybody have any questions before we begin? No questions? Okay. So, like I said, this is going to be a presentation about which console you should buy for your kid, or both, because you know, you like Sony, Xbox, and PlayStation, so that's not to say that you can't have both. But what I'm trying to do today is I'm trying to guide you through which console you should buy, because you really only need one console, and I'm going to help you pick the right console today. So let's go ahead and get started. So, look back in time, the Sony PlayStation 4 and the Microsoft Xbox One are actually the 8th generation of consoles that have come down the market. You may have heard of Nintendo, Sony, Sega Genesis, even original PlayStation. Those are all consoles back in the day. Microsoft has actually had only 3 consoles. You've had the original Xbox, then the Xbox 360, and that includes the 360S and the Kinect 360, and then of course the Xbox One. So this would be Microsoft's 4th generation console. Whereas Sony, on the other hand, has had the Sega Genesis before the PlayStation series, and they've had PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 before the PlayStation 4. So Sony's kind of been around the block a while with the consoles before. Take a look at the hardware specs. It's kind of hard to read, so I'll go over with you. You also have these on your handouts. But on the Xbox and the PlayStation, they're all pretty much the same, but in the next generation, it's all about the specs. So on the Xbox, we've got the Blu-ray player that comes standard. So if you've got a if you don't have a Blu-ray DVD player and you buy an Xbox One, you instantly now have a Blu-ray player. You've also got, on the RAM, you've got 8 gigabytes of RAM, which I'll dumb that down for non-techies. That's a lot of RAM for a computer. That means when you go shoot, bang, 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 you don't go jitter, 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 die, die, die. Basically what that means. On your storage, you've got 500 capacity on the Xbox One, which is double the size of the original Xbox. Some accessories that come with the Xbox standard are, you've got the chat headset, which is really good if you're playing at night. I don't know when you or your son play Xbox, but I have to play my Xbox at night when my kids are all asleep, and I get kind of loud when I'm yelling and cursing and swearing at the guys who are killing me. So the chat headset enables me to play without volume, and I can still speak into the microphone, so I can still talk trash without waking everybody up. There's also lots of third-party accessories for the Xbox. You've got Turtle Beach earphones, headphones, which those are the ones that I have. You've also got the Smart Glass app, which if you have a phone or an iPad, lets you use it as a remote control. And then of course you've got the turn controllers which is what you see up on the screen for classic arcade-style games. Does anybody have any questions so far? It's a lot of information. No? Okay. The other thing about the consoles is the online gaming. Microsoft Xbox comes with Xbox Live. It is a paid service. It's $59.99, per year for membership, but that lets you play online with all your friends. It also gives you access to some movies, trailers. You get free promos and stuff like that. Xbox Live is the signature gaming experience according to most gamers because it doesn't crash and burn like some others. That's the Xbox side. Now we're going to switch over and I'm going to talk about the Sony PlayStation. The hardware specs on the PlayStation are very similar to what the Xbox has. The Sony PlayStation 4 is also going to come with a Blu-ray player. So if you guys like Blu-ray movies, again, with the Sony PlayStation 4, that's going to come built in. Now that's the same type of drive they had with the PlayStation 3. So it's only new to the Xbox to get the Blu-ray player. If you've had a PS3, does anybody have a PS3?
We do.
Then you already have the Blu-ray
We
player.
have the two, I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, if you had a PS3, then you already had the Blu-ray player. The Xbox is getting the Blu-ray player this time around. You still have the same RAM. You also still have the same internal storage. The difference between on the hardware between the Sony PlayStation and the Xbox is the Xbox is about the size of this projector, if you can see it from where you're sitting, whereas the PS3 is a lot smaller. So it doesn't take up as much space, and all of the power supply is internal. Whereas on the Xbox, it's all external, so it takes up a lot more space. The accessories that come with the PlayStation 4, you get controllers, the DualShock controllers. You also get a headset that you can get for late night gaming. And then of course, there's all kinds of third-party products. Now, PlayStation also has an online gaming marketplace. Theirs is called PlayStation Plus. It's only $50 per year, but it's a little bit different than the Xbox. You don't actually have to have the online gaming system, the online gaming account to do the PlayStation. And back in January of this past year, the Sony PlayStation Network actually crashed because a lot of hackers took it down. And it was free up until that point, and then Sony decided to put a fee on it so they could pay for cybersecurity, whereas Microsoft has always been a charge, so that way it prevents things like this. Any questions about the hardware specifications from the PlayStation 4 versus the Xbox?
I noticed it said that the PlayStation has a DVR capability. Is that also on the Xbox?
The Xbox does have, it's called an in-game DVR, so what that's going to let you do is if Mr. Morris, you said you like to play 5 hours a day, right? What games do you prefer to play?
Call of Duty or
Okay, so on Call of Duty, what the in-game DVR is going to do is it's going to actually automatically record anywhere from 5 seconds to 5 minutes of the last gameplay automatically. So when you have a really great game, let's say you snipe somebody from 100 yards away, or maybe even 500 yards away, you can actually post that video online instantaneously. With the PlayStation Network, it automatically will share it with you if you sign up for that. I mean, it's a free service, free sharing service, but the game DVR on the PlayStation will actually automatically post that video to your social network. So you can brag about it, or if you die a lot, then you can get laughed at for all of eternity, which would probably be me, because I die every 5 seconds. I mean, I barely even get one kill. So I did some interviews, and there's been some interviews around about the differences between the Xbox and the PlayStation and what some common concerns are between all of the gamers. And the number one thing that comes up is compatibility, because like you guys said, you have a PS2, right? And you have an Xbox. Most everybody else here has an older Xbox. You guys will not be able to play your older games on the new consoles. So you have to really think about that when you go to buy your consoles, because all of your older games are pretty much useless on the new console, because backwards compatibility is no longer in the systems. It used to be a big part of Xbox, and in fact, for the first time ever, the Xbox One is not going to let you do backwards compatibility. So all your 360 games and all of your regular Xbox games, if you've got Halo 4, you can't play it on the Xbox One. They will release a different version for the Xbox One, but none of your game data is going to save over. If you've got PlayStation 2 games that your son likes to play, you can't play them on the PlayStation 4. So that's the number one concern right now between a lot of gamers is the backwards compatibility.
And is that both ways, that you can even play the older games on the newer box?
That's correct.
Plus
Mhm.
in your mind.
Now, PlayStation started that with the PS3. You couldn't go.
Or that you can't get newer games to play on the older box either.
Now, with the Xbox 360, Microsoft has said that they will still continue to produce games for the Xbox 360, but Sony is not producing any more games for PS3 and lower. All they're focusing on is PS4. But
But those
with,
games won't work on the older.
that's right. You'd either have to keep your PS3 or you'd have to just abandon those games altogether. But with Microsoft, they're actually still going to make games for the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One. So that might be a good selling point if you guys like Xbox.
So every new game that comes out, there will be no PS3.
That's correct. They'll only be for PS. All the new games are going to be PS4 only. But with Microsoft, for example, when Halo, I think it's Halo 5 comes out, there's going to be a 360 version and an Xbox One version. So you can pick whichever one you want. Now, the graphics and the realism will look a lot better on the Xbox One than the Xbox 360. But again, if you don't have an Xbox 360, if you don't have an Xbox One, you've got to get the Xbox 360 version. So, what are most consumers looking for in a game console or a gaming console? A lot of them are considering the games that you're going to play, family-friendly games, action games, violent games. Who's going to be playing those games? The age of your children playing them, or the age of your college kids playing them. And are you interested in actually like online gaming or videos? Me personally, I don't do Netflix or Hulu or weird stuff like that. But we do a lot of Xbox video. Like there's a lot of shows. I've been able to catch up on all the seasons just by watching the Xbox videos. Don't laugh at me. And of course the capacity. The bigger your hard drive, the bigger the space on the drive, the more games you can save. And this really isn't important unless you like to download movies to your box to watch later.
So